Today I am gathering observations of different cell groups so that I can identify patterns and differences between cell samples. I will know that I'm successful when my team and me complete our CRE poster. So you're going to be working first with partners, and we're going to be really digging into different types of cells. You may have had some experience before with cells, and that's great. Use your prior knowledge. But we're really going to be looking closely at some samples, and your goal is to identify what kind of cells are of the mystery cells. So just like yesterday with what's in the box, we had a mystery object. Today you're going to have 4 mystery samples, and you need to, by the end of class, decide, make your claim of what kind of cell each of those samples are. What questions do we have about today's goal? Yes?
When we choose our team?
You'll be working with your partners and actually your table teams for today. You are a little bit different, so we'll talk about your team assignment later. All right, any other questions? Cool, so we're already on page 2 as it is right now. Can I have a volunteer please read our guiding question? What is our investigation question for today? Noah.
What type of cell is shown for each unknown sample?
Absolutely. So like I said, you're going to get pictures and you're going to have to decide what kind of cell is in this picture or diagram. Right now, with your shoulder buddy, you're going to do a think, pair, share. Can I have someone read the directions, please, for a think, pair, share? Excellent. Thank you so much for reading. So you're going to think first. You're going to put all of your information on the chart here, answering these questions. Then with your shoulder partner, you're going to be able to share with them and maybe complete your answer further. If you got stuck on part of it, share that information. Then you're going to justify at the bottom. Why would that be important? Why would I want to investigate in that way? Or what information do we already know? Why would I need to include that? Be ready to share out because I will be calling on 3 different pairs at the end of this time. So has there been a time before, even like in elementary school, that you learned about cells?
Last year with my dad.
What parts do you remember talking about from cells?
Body parts.
So within the human body, this year too, we also talked about photosynthesis and the parts of the plant too. So thinking back to that, if you can remember some of those terms. I know we talked about it really briefly, but just some of those parts. It's okay. It's all good.
Okay. Yeah.
So thinking about like different parts, I know that another student just said mitochondria is a part of a cell. Are there other parts? Maybe you don't know that term yet. That's okay. But are there other parts of a cell that maybe you remember? Like in photosynthesis?
The plant stem.
That's part of it. So zooming in when we opened up the leaf, the chloroplast, that's definitely a part. So I would put that into prior knowledge. Are there any other parts that you remember when we looked inside? Because that's like the bigger part, the stem. But when we zoom in, what other parts do you remember? Mm-hmm. Please turn to the next page in your packet. You have the Venn diagram. What do we normally do with the Venn diagram? Someone explain to me. Bridget. Absolutely, scholar snaps. So it's the same, that's exactly what you're going to do right now. You have a Venn diagram for plant and animal cells. And I'm going to give you this worksheet. In one moment, you can sharpen your pencil. And so you're going to list all of the similarities in the middle that you see between these 2 pages of cells. But then you also need to list the differences that you notice for these different types of cells. Are there any questions on how we're using our Venn diagram? Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get 5 minutes for this activity. I want you to use all of your observation skills, and I really want you to get as many observations as you can onto your Venn diagram. Mitochondria. Look where you see those organelles, those smaller structures inside the cells.
And then like plant cells are organized. They look like breaks of what was it? An animal cell looks like it's just one, but then if you look at another picture, this is just one of these. So this is like one animal cell, but when you look at them all together, they're all look like they're squished together.
Yeah, but they don't look organized. Like, look at they look all messy.
Well, the plant cells are.
They're not
Yeah, the plant cells are like They look.
Thank you.
How do we organize
Absolutely, this is your
something?
nucleus. Absolutely. Looking carefully so you can see the parts, and also looking really carefully, what do they not have in common? What separates?
It has a membrane.
Is this what happened?
But even describing the
What
shape,
is-
right? Like, you have to form like what?
So there's like a, they both have a membrane, but there's an outer layer to the plant that makes it different.
Oh, the cells are both of the cells are inside like the
It
cells
does,
is like a
it
little
usually
bag, and inside those is the nucleus. This is so inside the cell.
These are like, these are our diagrams, like a replica, like, you know, a diagram of the volcano is a replica, but you're looking at, these are actual zoom.
I don't even know what this is.
So, wait, what did you write down? Two bunch in the middle.
Just put that they both cells, they both help the organism. Those cells are really close together. They both have nucleus. That's what I wrote. Animal cells are disorganized
Okay.
compared to the plant cells.
Okay. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to cover up the diagram ones. I want you to tell me, looking at the pictures, what do you notice that's different about their shape? So if I compare these two pages, how are the shapes different?
These are like rectangle, these are in a circle.
Okay, so we do see some circles on this side, but definitely only rectangular on plant cells. So I would put that on your diagram. I'm just covering up right now, so we're focusing only on the pictures.
This is where the cells are in the leaf, right?
Mm-hmm. Because these are different plant cells.
Because it does look like
Write it down, brick-like. Because when you get your unknown pictures in a moment, that might be something that helps you distinguish, is this a plant cell or an animal cell? What else do you see that's special? Like, what's only about animal cells, or what do only plant cells have?
Wait, plant cells only have a cell wall.
both of them.
Mm-hmm. Did you write that?
Oh yeah, I put cell wall.
Okay. So looking at like the structures, like even like the little like pieces, like how do you notice the organization is different?
They look like they're in a pattern. I just remember because like these just look like out of place. They don't have like patterns like they do in like groups.
I would write that down. Describe that with your team. That's a really good observation. I love the collaboration. I love your observations. And now we're going to put it to our next task. Turn to the next page in your packet. Can I have a volunteer please read the directions for your CER poster? Daniel, go for it. Everyone else follow along. Thank you, Daniel. So below, in a moment, below you're going to see this is a sample poster. You are going to make your larger version on our poster paper. So looking at the top, you have a guiding question, which was earlier in your packet. Noah read for us. You have your claim, your evidence, and your reasoning. Looking at the sample, just the sample right now, those are sentence starters that you could use, but you don't have to use. Okay? Looking at the sample, what questions do we have?
Animal. Always. I haven't even got this one.
Plant. This is animal.
Wait. Plant. As plant. For each unknown sample. Yeah, this is
This, and then the thing inside,
Well, the thing inside's called the.
nucleus,
Very good. Great.
and it has its cell wall.
Awesome. Great. So we have two pieces of evidence for these. What is your two pieces of evidence for this sample?
This one right here, it has like almost the same shapes as this, and like it has like ones inside as one.
Excellent. Okay. So these seem like you were pretty confident in your choice. What about this last slide? Why did you say animal cell?
Well, it really does have the same figures as this one, and they are like really small. Well, not small. I mean, like they are like really separate each other, like these and these.
All bunched up.
Yeah, they're all bunched up.
So I'm hearing from you the shape and the structure, right? You're saying the shape is like, well, you're saying like the form of it? Okay, okay, and then you're saying the space of them. Looks like you have your evidence. Perfect. So now start making your poster. You have the sample here, or this, actually this is mine. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I've given you your note card for today's exit ticket. Please make sure to put your name and cohort on your card. Do you see? So where do you agree with this group, and where do you maybe disagree?
Because
I love the scholar conversation I'm hearing.
D,
Scholars using actual evidence for your justifications and writing complete sentences. It's okay for you and your teams to have the same answers. Any slides that you disagree with? Or did you fully agree?
this is animal cell because it's like not as specific. It looks like one and these look more.
Okay, great. So I can see you fully filled that one in. Where you did agree, was there any new information that they provided that when you go back to your poster you could add to it? Because you're looking to strengthen your arguments.
Well, we don't have these 3 pictures.
Okay, so looking from having those 3 pictures, is there any new evidence that you could pull?
No, because we also know that the plant cells are smaller than the animal cells.
Okay, and where did you put that in?
In our poster.
Okay, good. And if there's any last questions, thinking about that, or any other questions that you have, I would definitely write them in that section too. Okay?
We observed that unknown B, unknown D, and unknown A or different from animal cells. A pattern we observe.
What do we agree with?
We agree with unknown cell A only. They put plant, animal, plant, animal. Yeah, it's called plant. Which can we distinguish? We agree with unknown B. Unknown B and unknown C are correct. Plant cells are smaller than animal cells. Plant cells are smaller than unknown B and C are correct because they're in the first one. They had the same as us, right? So they had A and only A. Except for like the last 3. Unknown A. Unknown A is the only one that's wrong, right? Right. The only one that's right.
How can we improve our claim?
Make sure that you're writing that down because you can use that to strengthen your claim on your poster. Are there any cells that you disagree with?
Yeah, this one.
All right. So why do you disagree?
Because it's not an animal cell.
So why I would write in your packet why you disagree. So you think it's a plant cell because you see that there's cell walls. Is there any other evidence that you would use?
I think they're more. It's about.
Good. So they're more together and organized. There's cell walls. Is there any like I'm hearing you talk about the structure is what I'm hearing. So write that in right where it says where you disagree and why. Why do you disagree? All of the things that you just listed, that was awesome. Make sure to include that.
They don't have one.
Why say this is a claim like?
No, that's
not
the
the
claim
last
for
one.
unknown.
I would just.
This is wrong. Because they think A is an animal cell.
Wait, did we get this one?
Unknown C was the only
But that was
unknown C animal. This one was the only
No,
animal
this is a
cell.
plant cell. All three of these
Or plant cell.
They got it right though.
This one's not right.
Oh.
Blocky. It has.
Let's discuss right now those questions. Number one, how did your group come up with your claim? Can I get a volunteer, please? Explain, how did your group decide on the claims that you had? What was your process? Alondra?
the paper that you gave us with the images, we looked and we compared these images to the images on the paper, and we looked at the parts inside.
You looked at the parts in the cells, and then how did you determine what was a plant cell and what was an animal cell? What was your process?
By comparing both of the pictures.
Good. And what was that detail then that you were looking for that says, yes, this is a plant cell, or yes, this is an animal cell?
The size and how it was organized. Like it had a cell wars in it.
Okay. Scholar snaps. So now let's go to this last question, because I'm really curious about what you saw after seeing your other groups. What information did you gather from other teams? Was there something evidence that made your argument stronger, or was there evidence that made you want to change your claim?
Because we thought it was an animal cell. Then we're thinking back that it's probably a plant cell because of the cell wall.
Good, so that was that new evidence that you found. Excellent. Scholar snaps. Yes, Melissa?
Animal cells are bigger than plant cells.
Okay, so you noticed, and that's a trend that we're going to talk about. Thank you for sharing. But I noticed a lot of us observed, and we're going to explore that further to really test out and see if that's a good qualifier. All right, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to reveal, to find out your answers? Yes, no, maybe so? Yes. Oh, you want to wait till Monday? Okay, fine. Yes. No. All right. So here are our answers. While I'm showing you, if you have any last proton points, please make sure to put them in the bucket because we will have our raffle. But our first cell is a plant cell.
We got that right.
Yes.
Cell B is a plant cell. Cell C is an animal cell. And cell D is a plant cell. All right, so.
Yeah.
You did a really great job of challenging your thinking and using evidence to back up your claims. Well done. In order to be dismissed for today, here's what I need from you. Your posters are going to be piled on this table, and I need both of your packets from yesterday and today, so both lab packets from this investigation. Your exit ticket is the last page here. So once you finish your exit ticket, you may come drop off your packets from both days. While you're doing that, I will pull our winners for this week's raffle.